All right. Hey guys, welcome back to Sun Crypto. It is February 15th, 2022, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In today's content, we'll talk about BTC. We'll take a look at BTC on a macro view. We'll talk about BTC, from the quarterly time frame all the way down to the weekly time frame, and what type of support or resistance we could expect, like going into Q2 and all that good stuff, right? So let me go ahead and make sure the sound is good before we dive into the great stuff, right? So who's in a house, man? We got John Doe in the house. What's up, man? Thanks a lot for tuning in. Quiet Cook cooking in the kitchen. Thanks a lot for tuning in. ZX in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. So now, guys, we will basically focus on the macro view, not like BTC pumping and dumping, or dumping and pumping and all that good stuff. So if we take a look at BTC, let's go ahead and start off with the quarterly time frame, so we understand exactly what's going on and what we've been saying over the last few quarters. Okay, so if we just zoom out and take a look at BTC and basically just ignore all these indicators, even volume for now. Okay, volume, RSI, and all that good stuff, right? Hey, what's up, Craig? We got Craig in the house. We got Hank in the house. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Digital Torch in the house too, right? Thanks a lot, guys, for hitting the likes and all that good stuff, right? So if we take a look at the quarterly time frame, if we just zoom out, guys, and we said, okay, let's just take a step back and take a look at our last 12 months, and review what we've been doing. All right, so the only thing we can see right now is like we just been getting what? Dump and pump, pump and dump. That's it. Bitcoin pump to 65, dump to 30k, pump back up to 69, give or take, and dump back down to 33. So nothing really hasn't been going on, right, over the last few months, even though traders, speculators, whatever you want to call them, been calling for like all kind of crazy prices, like 200k, 500k, 300k, and all that good stuff. But BTC been saying what? All you guys going to be wrong, right? In terms of time, they will eventually be right at some point in time, right? But in terms of like a short-term timing, like a 6-month to a 12-month time frame, all of you guys going to be wrong till I'm done correcting. So basically, the only thing we can learn from the quarterly cycle is like sideways correction. Okay, and if we take a look at these candles patterns, okay, the pattern of these candles, you can see like we got a beautiful, you could call it engulfing. It wasn't like 100% engulfing, but you could call it like a very nasty candle in terms of like a rejection. Take a look at it right here at 69. What we got another rejection right there. Right now, first quarter of 2022, we're getting what? Another big rejection. So rejection from the top, rejection from the bottom. So basically it is just what? Sideways correction. It is just sideways correction, even though we've been anticipating 100k, 200k, and all that good stuff, or even some bears been waiting for like a 10k. They might get 10k in 10,000 years from now, but I don't think they will get 10k at any given time. All right, so basically just sideways correction on a quarterly basis, right? The quarterly time frame, I'm not sure, okay, if bulls going to be able to close the first quarter of 2022 bullish. Okay, that could trigger a very significant candle pattern, and in terms of like a bull market, that could basically flip the entire crypto space sentiment. Okay, right there we got a bearish. It wasn't quite bearish in terms of like a candle color, right? But in terms of like a rejection, it was bearish, right? So what I was saying was like, as long as we do not close the candle, the last quarter of 2021, if we don't close it like bearish, it is still going to be okay, even though it is a big rejection, but it is something to basically rely on going forward, right? However, if we close this candle bullish, that could basically signal like a potential bullish continuation over the next like a few months and all that good stuff. All right, so just to summarize the quarterly time frame, sideways correction. Okay, bulls basically need to close bullish, right? Need to close the candle bullish, by March, by end of March, right? Going into April and all that good stuff, right? So now, in terms of like a supports, right? Regarding the quarterly time frame, we know the worst case scenario for BTC. I talked about it before. It is going to be the quarterly 21 EMA. Okay, the quarterly 21 EMA right now it is at 2022. So it fluctuates. Okay, so if you're a bear, right, and you're trying to pick the bottom, you could wait for it. Okay, you could wait for it, but it is not guaranteed, right? It will retest it. It is not guaranteed it will retest it. But the worst case scenario for the bulls, right, would be like support at the quarterly 21 EMA. I don't know. I don't think like we will retest it now within the next like 3 days or so, whatever. But in terms of like a quarterly time frame, I don't know if it is going to be Q1, Q2, or even like a Q3. But if we basically can close above it, right, even if we retest it, we just don't want to close above it. That's why it is going to be important to buy the first dip at the retest of the quarterly 21 EMA. Okay, even if it dumps below it, right, it is still going to be a good buy, because we got a very small chance, right, to close below it. Okay, so now we're going to basically get the transition to the monthly time frame, right? So if you recall the monthly time frame, right, what we said even before we retested it, right, back in December, right, what we said, yes, the 3D directional is down, so but we're not going to be looking for 5%, 10% move. We will most likely going to suck it up and look for like the monthly 21 EMA, guys. Most of you guys recall, okay? Many people were looking for like what, 2,000 point dump, 3,000 point dump, but when BTC was like around like a 52, we were saying, okay, retest of what, 35. So nearly over, over 15,000 point dump we were looking for, right? And the reason why we were very confident regarding the monthly 21, the monthly 21, it is a macro support. Okay, all these macro supports like weekly 21, sometimes the weekly 21, it is not even very consistent in terms of like supporting the price. Most of you guys know that. If you've been waiting for it like back in May, you know what happened. You most likely got wrecked, right? Because sucker dump below it, right? But the monthly 21, weekly 100 EMA, quarterly quarterly 21, the three macro supports, right? Price, okay, prices, okay, most of the time don't basically just break below it and capitulate. They most likely going to move sideways like for a few weeks or even like month before they dump below it. So we talk about it right here. I said it before we retested the monthly 21 EMA right there, right? January 2021, right? January 2022, right? So right there, I said, okay, take a look at it right here, what we get. Okay, we basically moved sideways for like a 3-4 months before we dumped down. Right there, we moved sideways like for nearly 5-6 months before we capitulated down to our monthly 50 EMA right there. Okay, did not close below it. So anything below it was just for the short-term traders. That was Satoshi, excuse me. So the macro traders did not care about BTC like retesting 4K, because they were like, okay, I'm good enough at 5K, or even like a 7K. If I can buy in this range, right, I can look for another 10x. Okay, but the short-term traders, right, they're going to be buying at 4K. Yes, probably they bought the dip at 4K, 4.5, but they will get out at 8K. Okay, so you think about it, right? Do you want to buy BTC between like, would you buy BTC between like 775, right, 7,500 down to like a 5,500, right? You get a nice average of 6K, give or take, and you just take it to a 60K. Or do you want to buy BTC at 4K and just get out at 5K? So that's the difference between like trading the macro and trading the short-term trades. Okay, if you're trading the short-term trades, you're looking for the bottom. Okay, if you're trading the macro, you're looking for the big moves. Okay, you're not even looking for the tops, but you're looking for the big moves. So speaking of a big move, right? So if we take a look at BTC on a monthly basis, as I said, buying at the monthly 21 EMA historically, okay, will generate what? A 10x move at least. Okay, so if we go ahead and take a look at it on the BLX, if we take a look at it right here, if you bought BTC back in 2012, right around the monthly 21, just above it, even though it moved, it did not quite retest it, right, based on the price histories, right? But you know, you just accumulated at $4. Most of you guys going to be like, yes, I would have been buying BTC at $4, but that time you didn't know like if BTC going to like a 50K and all that good stuff, right? But think about it, right? You got a nice, you know, over, you know, 26,000% gain, you know, all the way up to the next bull market peak, right? So even if you miss that bull market peak, right, you'd be like, okay, I missed it, I'm gonna accumulate at the monthly 21. Remember, it can still dump like below it, but you don't care about BTC dumping below it because you're looking for the next like a 3 to 5 years after that, right? Or even, you know, lower, okay, shorter meaning, okay, not that long, right? So if you bought BTC right here at $400, guess what, guys? You still got a 4,000% gain. And you know, if you're a moon boy, you sold the top, right? So, but you know, and not but and if you bought BTC right here at 6K, you still got a nice 900% gain. Okay, another 10x move. And remember, you're not even buying at the 50, the monthly 50 EMA. You're just being very consistent, right? And buying at the monthly 21. Okay, so that's why I'm saying, okay, even though the monthly 21, it is a very good historical support, it is also, you know, got some weaknesses, right? One of the weaknesses is like whenever we break out below it, we tend to capitulate. Okay, we tend to capitulate. We just don't dump below the monthly 21 EMA like 5%, 10%. Okay, on average, we tend to dump like 40 to 50%. Right here, back in 2020, the most recent one, right, we dumped like 45% below it. Okay, if we take a look at the 2018 capitulation, similarly, okay, 45%. And if we take a look at the 2015 right here, right, 2014 capitulation, right, October 2014, we capitulated nearly 60%. So on average, okay, you can see like we can get anywhere between like a 45, right, to a 50%. But since we're getting like diminishing return, meaning like every single pump after the monthly 21, right, every bull market pump from the monthly 21 tends to basically give a lower return. Okay, so for instance, right here we did have what, over like 20,000. Right there we got like a, you know, let's take a look at it right here again, right, 4,000. So right here we got like about like 1,000, you see. So since like we're getting like diminishing return, I wouldn't expect like to get like a 45 to a 60%. Do you see what I'm saying? Since like we're getting less gains, right, from the monthly 21, we're most likely going to get what, lesser dump from the monthly 21. So it just makes sense. Okay, so so if we're expecting like BTC to capitulate, let's say less than 45%, right, from the monthly 21, we could say, okay, how about a 35% dump? The 35% dump going to take us at the you know, monthly 50 EMA. Okay, the monthly 50 EMA right now, remember, we're just speculating right now, we're not saying it will, but it is better to be ready than to be you know, eating popcorn when market is dumping. So you don't want to be like laughing when market is dumping like you're not in the market. Okay, because you're most likely going to be buying like when the market is up. You see what I'm saying? So if we take a look at the monthly 50, right now it is at 24K. And remember, it is not based on Elliott wave, but it is just based on like moving averages. Okay, so keep an eye on the monthly 50, right, and the monthly 21. Monthly 21, once again, it is still a good level to accumulate. Okay, if it dumps lower, anything below the monthly 50, I wouldn't care. It is just going to be for the leverage traders getting wrecked or the short-term traders buying like at 24, 25 and selling at 29. And if you buy anywhere between like a 30k to 35, you're looking for a 5x to 10x move. And on the macro scale, we talk about BTC regarding our our directional move to 180, right? And what we're saying is like our next Fibonacci to the upside is what, 1.41 going to take us roughly around like 180 to 200k. Okay, not based on the plan B, plan C, plan Z, whatever, but it is just based on Fibonacci extension. Okay, and the extension we're looking for is the first wave. It is very, very simple, very, very straightforward. You don't need, like, for instance, you don't need like a glass node to basically do some fundamental analysis or do some on-chain analysis. All you need to do is just draw your Fibonacci, right? Swing low, just about like 1 cent, swing high all the way up to $32, and another swing low down to like $2, and you just watch your Fibonacci's. If you're a moon boy, you're not gonna be looking for the 1.41 extension up to 180. You're probably going to be looking for the 1.618 extension all the way up to $1 million. But I don't think we will get there anytime soon. Okay, so there is no need to be talking about BTC like $1 million, because it could take like 10 years to get there. Right? Remember, since like 2017, right? BTC, yes, BTC is up. Okay, if you bought BTC back in early 2017, even though it is like 5 years now, right, it is still like 40x. Okay, 40x up if you bought BTC the first couple of months of 2017. But I don't think we will be 40x in 5 years again, because remember, we just talked about what the diminishing return. Okay, it is not going to be sustainable to be pumping like 40x every 5 years. So I would say like maybe 10x in the next like 5 years, or even 8 to 10x in the next 5 years. Meaning like BTC could be anywhere between like 400k to basically 200k in the next like 5 years, right? But it is not rational to be thinking about like a $1 million BTC. Okay, as of now, right? 10 years, 10 years from now, we could say, hey, it is time to basically be pumping to $1 million and even higher. Okay, and even higher and all that good stuff, right? Hey, we got Jude, Moonboy, Mr. XRP 589 in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. So for instance, Jude is waiting for like XRP to hit 589, but I've been telling him like, I'm holding some XRP, but I'm not expecting XRP to hit like a 589 in the next like 2 to 3 years. Okay, so we could hit like, let's say we got to take out our $13 to $16 target, and then basically try to break out above $30, $80, $100, and we could now talk about like a 589. It is going to be it is going to be pretty pretty challenging to get to like a 589. But if crypto will hit like, let's say 100 trillion, 150 trillion, XRP hitting like 589 will be like 30 trillion according to a 10k bear. I need to do the math, right? 32 trillion. I don't think it is a lot. Yes, it is going to be probably bigger than Apple, but bigger than Amazon, bigger than all these big techs, Tesla and all of them. But you're just assuming like everything else will not move as fast as XRP, because you just don't know. Apple could be 32 trillion in the next like 10 to 15 years, stuff like that, right? So we will talk about Apple and crypto market cap comparison in another video. We talked about it previously regarding the 1-to-1 ratio, right? Let's go ahead and quickly take a look at it, and we will go back to the BTC macro review continuation, right? So if you take a look at, that's a chart of the total market cap, right, versus the Apple market cap, meaning like, you know, if you take the total market cap and you divide it, the crypto total market cap divided by the Apple total market cap, okay, or Apple market cap, whatever you want to call it, right? So you can see like back in 2017, I've been paying attention to this chart. I mean, I've been paying attention to the ratio, not the chart, right? I recently started to pay attention to the chart, right? But if you take a look at right here, back in 2017, I was like, okay, take a look at it. Crypto was like 850 billion. Apple was like right around like 850 billion. So if you do the ratio, was like 1-to-1. So the 1-to-1 ratio between Apple and crypto been pretty spot on, okay? Meaning like after we retested it right here, you can see like we're getting multiple rejections, okay? Multiple rejections, okay? I don't think crypto, once again, will be, let's say, 10%, 15% of Apple market cap. So we bottom right there, just about like 0.15, right, or 15% of Apple market cap, regardless of what the Apple market cap will be. Okay, for instance, you know, right now Apple is just about like let's see, I think like almost 3 trillion, right? If it didn't basically dump recently, right? Let's take a look at it right here. So Apple is just about like 2.7 trillion, okay? So for instance, if we go back to you know, to the chart right here, and we take a look at the chart, and we say, okay, we're going to be like, let's say 15% of Apple market cap. That's going to be horrible, okay? Meaning like, it means like everything will dump hard, okay? Because 15% of 2.7 trillion, so you're looking at like 400 billion. So that's not feasible, okay? So 400 billion, you know, I don't see us going back down below like 600 billion, right? So anything at or around like 1.3 to 1 trillion, it is still going to be a good buy if you're looking for like the next 3 to 5 years, because you're looking for like 10 trillion, okay, up to 10-11 trillion, or at least like a 7 trillion. So if we hit like, let's say 1 trillion, 1.3, anything below it going to be a steal. And you got to remember the last bull market, right, peak was like 800 and, you know, 800 and what, 800 and you know, 800 and basically 850 billion, right? So something to basically keep in mind going forward and all that good stuff, right? So now let's go back to BTC macro view. So if we go back to the BTC chart, right? So we talk about the monthly 21 EMA going to be a good support. If we capitulate within the next like a few weeks or even like a few months, our secondary support going to be the monthly 50 EMA. Right now it is at 24.5. Okay, so depending on how we're going to close the monthly, it could be high. If we stay above the monthly 21 for like a 3-4 months, like what happened back in 2018, or even like back in 2019 right here, it could be somewhere around like a 25, 26, depending on you know, candle closed and all that good stuff, right? So basically, first support monthly 21, it is still going to be a very, very important key support to pay attention to if you're a macro trader. You know, if you want to look for a secondary support, monthly 50. Okay, we will talk about the monthly 100 EMA if and only if we retest like the monthly 50. Okay, back in 2020 right here, I was thinking like we could even retest the monthly 100 EMA, because back then the stock market retested the monthly 100 EMA, right? So I was like, okay, because my target for the stock market like for was like the retest of the 100 EMA, okay, for the Nasdaq, right, and Dow Jones, right? So retest of the 100 EMA. So I was expecting BTC to retest the monthly 100 EMA, but it didn't. So, but it is not a topic right now to focus on. We will focus on it if and only if we retest like the monthly 50, okay? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on the weekly, because the weekly time frame, guys, let me go ahead and see if you guys have any question, right? Hey, what's up, Imel? Thanks a lot for tuning in. Imel is another moon girl also, right? But Jude is a real moon boy. So let me see if you guys have any question regarding the macro view, right? Regarding the monthly, the quarterly, right? Or even Apple versus crypto market cap and all that good stuff. If you don't, we can basically dive into the weekly analysis. Oh, Jude, you change your target to 5.89. I think you're just joking, man. You're still waiting for 5.89. Yo, Shani in the house. Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. Where you been at? You're late. Digital Torch in the house. Thanks a lot, man. Tells all that good stuff in the house, man. Thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. So let's go ahead and dive into the weekly analysis, okay? Most of you guys love the weekly analysis, but sometimes most of you guys only pay attention to the weekly 21, okay? So remember, last time BTC dumped like below 40K, right? Most analysts been saying what? Oh, we in a bear market. I don't like to say bear market because BTC is very tricky. Once you say bear market, everybody going to pack their bags, right? And they're going to be looking for like 10K and all that good stuff. So I just like to call it a downtrend, okay? Or an uptrend, okay? If we're very excited, we can call it bull market, right? But if you take a look at what happened back in 2019, if you're familiar with the crypto space, and most analysts back then, remember when we got the 40% pump, most analysts said, oh, we're in a bull market, okay? Before we got the dump, they said, okay, we dumped below the 21 EMA, right? Now we in a bear market. So in a matter of like 4 weeks, they flip bearish and then they flip bullish, okay? And what I was saying back then was like, based on Elliott wave, I just don't have time to go through some Elliott wave analysis. But based on Elliott wave analysis, that move was just a retracement from the anti-pump right here. We just pulled back up, and we will have to retest our 5 to 6K, okay? And even the pump right here, I was still saying like, it is just a bigger macro correction. So the entire move from like a 14K down to like a 4K area lasted nearly 9 months, right? But was only a correction. And most moon boys and doom boys been calling for all type of crazy analysis, right? But it was only a correction, okay? So as you can see right here, the same type of correction we got right here, okay, which was a WXY correction. This one, it is another potentially WXY correction, right? On the weekly basis, with the weekly 100 EMA support temporarily, till we basically get our MACD and all that good stuff. The 3D MACD, we will probably talk about the 3D MACD and all that good stuff, right? But if you take a look at it right here, on a weekly basis, we got a very strong support right there, just like what happened back in 2019, December 2019. Okay, so I showed you guys, I told you even before we retested the weekly 100 EMA / monthly 21 EMA, because most of the time they within like 5 to 10%, right? So of each other's, right? So I was saying like we will get a pump. We just don't know the magnitude of the pump, but if you buy the dip right around like 35 and on average, right? If you got anything lower, you just suck it up, right? You're going to get a pump. Sometimes you don't know how high the pump going to be, because you basically will need to analyze the pump, based on the weekly moving averages and all that good stuff, right? But we did get the support we were looking for right here. Now, okay, even though we got a support and we got the pump, we were anticipating, right? If we take a look at our last weekly candle close, okay, it was not a beautiful candle. Okay, if you're bull, if you're bear, it was a nice candle. Okay, so if you're bull, that candle wasn't the best candle you want to be looking at, right? If you're bear, you're basically throwing a party right now. Okay, knowing like, okay, we got a very good probability, right, not to break out above this candle, and even if we do, bears, okay, probably going to fight back and basically take control of the market. So if we take a look at right here, take a look at the candle, this candle right here, that's what I was saying, we needed to avoid making on the week, on the monthly right now, right? And at the same time, we needed to avoid making it on the quarterly basis, right? So it is a bearish candle, right? So if you take a look at right here, we did get one, and what happened, right? Price action did move to the upside. Myself, I ignored it because I was like, okay, we got one, but we can still push high, right? But this time I don't want to ignore it. Okay, I don't want to ignore it. So we can still push higher on the weekly basis up to the weekly 21, and we'll see how we will be able to deal with the weekly 21 EMA right here. So BTC, okay, based on resistances, right? We could be looking for the weekly 21 EMA slash monthly, monthly resistance. Our last month open was right around like 46. Okay, so that's why I was saying, like, buy the dip right here, because we can still, wait for the pump and basically sell at the monthly resistance. So if you bought the dip at 45, you're looking for like another 10,000 point, like 35 up to 45 and 46, because the monthly resistance last month open was right around like 46.2. So 46.2, right, basically coincides with the weekly 21 EMA resistance. It is right now just about like a 46.4. Okay, so 45 to 46k area. Okay, it is going to be a very tight range, right? To be patient, right, and let market basically give you direction. Because as I said, buy the dip right here. I'm not going to recommend, okay, to be buying the tops right here, because I just don't know if bears, okay, going to bulls actually going to be able to take out the bears and get back above the 21 EMA right here, especially on a monthly basis. If we take a look at it on a monthly, I just don't know if bulls going to be able to close above last month high right here. Okay, so that's why I'm just being cautious, because on average, okay, if you get like 25-30% move on a monthly basis, you just got to be cautious. I said it in my premium group, right? What I was saying was like these monthly candles, right there, okay, was like 22%, right? Volatility from swing low or swing high, whatever, depends on the candle close. Right there was like 30%. December, okay, January, we got another what? Another 30%. So if you get 25% volatility this month right here, we already got what? 26% volatility. Okay, so should you be bullish, right? Knowing like between 25 to 30%, you're most likely going to get what? A slowdown in the trend, because the monthly volatility you're looking for, 25 to 30%, it is already there. Okay, unless we get a capitulation like what happened back in May, you get a 50% dump in 1 month, and then basically you're going to be like, okay, it is time to be, just sucking it up and buying the dips, right? But as of now, right, it is time just to be very cautious on a monthly basis. We already got 26%, and we know getting a 30% breakout in 1 month, especially during the sideways correction right here, it is not going to be easy. Okay, it is not going to be easy to get like 50%, 60%, 70% in 1 month. Okay, we could get it once we start the bull market, like right here. You can see like we got like nearly 50% in 1 month. Okay, back in October right there. Okay, November actually, And if you take a look at it back in December 2020, another 65%, because we broke out above resistance. But right now we're still in range, so it is not going to be easy to get like a 60% monthly candle, like, you know, people expecting like, let's say 60k, okay, like 58k and all that good stuff. I don't think we will get it. Okay, so best thing to do, right, or what I'm doing is being cautious between like 44 to 46k on a weekly basis, right? And knowing like a breaking out above like a 46 going to be very very hard, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on you know, in terms of like a MACD. In terms of MACD, you could wait for the weekly MACD to cross bullish, right? But as of now, it is not. One thing we just have to avoid in terms of like a bearishness, right, is like if we get a rejection like that, that could basically trigger a, you know, a possible even monthly capitulation we just talked about regarding the 50 EMA. Okay, we just have to be very cautious. If, you know, we get a negative sentiment right here in terms of the MACD, it is likely to get the job done to the downside. Okay, similarly to the upside right there, as you can see, we got the rejection and we pumped to the upside. Remember, we are bullish right here. Okay, we were bullish, and back then you can see like the MACD was basically getting a strong rejection. Okay, and basically it pumped to the upside and all that good stuff, right? And we picked at 69, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC, because on the, let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on the 3D, right? So on the 3D time frame, right, the reason I'm being very optimistic is like our 3D MACD, okay, it is still positive. And I told you guys, you don't want to wait for the MACD to be positive, right, to start buying the you know, buying the dips. Okay, you want to buy the dips before the MACD turns positive. The reason for that is like sometimes you can, you know, you can get a bullish MACD and price action can still retest the support area. Okay, like what happened right here, we flipped bullish, right, the first week of July 2021, not 2020, right? But we still managed to bears still managed to retest the bottom. So that's why I was saying, guys, you know, just buy the dip at the weekly 100 EMA. Okay, just buy the dip. Even though MACD is negative, we will take care of it later on. Okay, we will take care of it later on. Once we basically get a flip MACD, a bullish MACD, right, we will basically just assume, okay, the bottom could be very close, right, to our recent low, meaning like the bottom, if we do not capitulate, the bottom, okay, speculatively could be somewhere around like 30k, which is pretty close to a 33. Okay, so something to basically keep in mind, right, going forward. So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on a daily basis. On a daily basis, we did get a nice divergence. If you guys recall our divergence right here back in December, January, and February, and all that good stuff, what I was saying was like, you know, you just don't know. Okay, that time the divergence was like that. Okay, I was like, you don't know if you're going to get a horizontal support. Okay, so don't be too bullish. Okay, so, and I stayed bearish, even though we did get a nice divergence right here. You could have called it one, and take a look at it. We dumped like from 52 down to our target, even with a bullish divergence. Okay, so on the daily, if we basically just want to rely on our MACD, right, based on the daily doesn't look bad. Okay, it doesn't look bad at all. So we will need the MACD to flip negative on the daily to get the shift in momentum based on the daily time frame. Okay, so that's why I'm saying I don't expect like BTC to close below like a 38k before March. Okay, not sure if I mentioned it, but let's go back and take a look at it, right? So the reason why I'm saying like I don't expect BTC, it doesn't mean I can't be wrong. Okay, but my expectation is like we could still close the February cycle, monthly cycle bullish, meaning like not closing below, okay, below the candle open. The candle open at 38,483. Okay, so closing below 38 will basically give us what? Give us the same type of candle we got on the weekly basis. We just got on the weekly basis, right? Last week we could get a nasty candle like that, which is not going to be good at all. Okay, depending on how we close. Okay, we could close with a big body, or we could close with a small body, and you know, small wick. We just don't know, depend on volatility, right? But closing like that in this month of February, that's going to be very, very bad. Okay, for the next like a few months. Okay, if you take a look at it right here, back in 2019, right? Look at these type of candles, okay, you were getting, and I was bearish, and that time I wasn't even paying attention to the monthly time frame. I was just paying attention to you know, the trend based on Elliott wave, right? But take a look at these big rejections, right? Take a look at it, right? That's not good at all. Okay, that's not good at all. So we basically got to stay above what? Above 38,483. Okay, similar to the quarterly cycle right here. Remember we said back in late December, we said we got to stay above 44, and we did. Even though I was bearish and I was looking for 35, right, monthly 21 / weekly 100 EMA, I was saying like I don't think we will get it in December. Okay, so BTC, you know, on a monthly basis, even though we're saying like we can still retest like the 33 or 30K, if it dumps, right, I don't think we will get it in February. Okay, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I mean, I don't think I will be wrong, because even if it dumps, right, I'm still okay, because, you know, I'm saying like it is going to be a support area to buy it. But in terms of timing, yes, you're going to be wrong, because you're saying like I'm not expecting it. But it is going to be a, you know, a good wrong analysis, right, if we dump in February down to 30K, right? I hope not. All right, and Jay in the house, thanks a lot for tuning in. Grandson, thanks a lot, man. Grandson, yo, San, what's up? Let's pump these suckers. Mr. 10K Bears. So Mr. 10K Bears can shut up. So Mr. 10K been waiting for 10K, and I said, man, look, you've been waiting for 10K since like you know, 10,000 BC, you know, and I don't think you will see 10K in the next 10,000 years, man. So so good luck with your 10K. It just doesn't make sense, guys. Like, based on Elliott wave, we will talk about BTC on the, you know, on the 6 hour, but based on Elliott wave, right, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, like for BTC to be retesting you know, 10K. Okay, it just doesn't make sense, right? Because we talked about it back in 2017, but 2020, September 2020 till basically November 2020. What we said was like, that's going to be our wave 3, right? And once we get to once we complete our wave 3, we know our wave 4 going to be very challenging. That's exactly what I said. I said we're not going to worry about wave 4 because we don't know how you know, how long it'll take for the wave 4 to basically be completed. So we just going to focus on our directional move, 44K, and we talk about why 44K. It's not like we missed the top. We didn't miss the top. We said 44K because 1.618 extension, right, going to be at 44, right, to a 42K area right here, depending on how you want to draw it, right? But if you want to be very accurate, it is going to be around right around like a 42 to 44, right? So I was spot on, and BTC was at like, I think like 18K, 19K, right? And if you guys remember, most analysts were saying like, oh, we're going to retest like 21K, right? And we're going to dump down to a 14K, and we will go up to like a, you know, whatever price we will go to, right? but that's not exactly what I was saying. I was very specific regarding the 44K and high. Okay, so now we know, we do understand what's going on based on our Elliott wave perspective, right? The entire range right here, it is nothing but a flat correction. It could be, you know, a running flat, right, or an expanded flat. If it is going to be an expanded flat, we could, you know, get our monthly 50 EMA to support the price before we get the next leg up. So based on Elliott wave alone, guys, the BTC directional move on the macro scale, it is up. Okay, it is up. Okay, I don't have to basically go through it again, right? So now let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on a 6-hour basis. So based on the 6-hour basis, I was a little bit you know, it looked very FOMO-y, right? Almost FOMO right here after the bullish crossover. But remember, okay, a 6-hour bullish crossover, okay, during a very strong uptrend, let's say we're in a bull market like what happened back in 2017 till 2021, right? September, October 2020, right? All the way up to like a December, you know, January 2021. Remember what we were saying was like whenever we retest our, you know, 21 EMA on our 6-hour basis, or even up to the 100 EMA, we will be what, buying the dips, because we know we're in a what, we're in a macro trend. Let me just show you what I'm trying to say, okay? Because some of you guys are some doom boys. If somebody says macro scale uptrend, you guys basically just go to the next video, right? So if you take a look at it right here, that's what I was saying. You know, right here, I nailed the flat correction right here, right there, guys. Remember when BTC was at 17K, what I said was like, it is what, it is a flat correction. I can show you all these targets in my premium group back then, okay? I just don't have time to do it, right? But, and I said exactly after we pump, we will basically create another flat correction right here. I mean, it was crazy, guys. So we created another flat correction right here around like 24, and bears was still calling for 14K. And we said these flat correction, guys, all right, they are basically you know, macro, if you get them on the macro scale, right? Of course, they are basically macro directional continuation pattern, okay? So if you take a look at it right there, we were just buying the dips, right, at the 100 EMA. I remember right here we missed the 100 EMA, right, tiny bit, right? And I was like, okay, I don't think, guys, we will retest like a 16K. So let's just jump in on 16.4, 16.5 area. So we jumped in again right here. And secondly, right there, we basically retested it right there. I was like, okay, guys, we're not going to get a, you know, an expanded flat. It is going to be possibly a running flat. We're not going to retest the lows. And we basically mooned. Okay, so I remember all these setups, guys, because you know, it takes time, guys, to analyze the market. So you can't just analyze the market and basically forget about what you said in a particular you know, in a particular market, you know, direction, right? Even the setup we got right here, if you guys recall, right, I said it in my both in my premium and public group, right? I said it is a flat correction. However, the move right here could be isolated. So if it is going to be an isolated trend, we will basically just forget about the previous trend, and we will basically going to be focusing on the current trend. Remember, guys, that's why after we broke out below 52.7, we said we're going to dump. Okay, let's not try to fight the trend. Okay, so something to basically keep in mind. So let's go back to the 6-hour time frame. Okay, so if we take a look at the 6-hour time frame, we do have a bullish crossover on our MACD. So it is going to slow down any retest of these supports, right? If we're going to retest them, right, before going higher. So till we get a negative crossover right here, right, the trend probably going to be staying above the 21 EMA. Okay, So even though I'm short to medium term bearish between 45 up to 46k area, right? And we talk about why 46. So if you just join the live stream, make sure to rewind it, right? Why 45, 46 is a very strong key area. Okay, so MACD right here, after it flipped negative, what we said, right? Remember what we said right here. Okay, it is a flat correction, but it could basically be isolated, but it just pumped back up. So if we break out below the support area right here, we could be retesting the lows, because everything above it could be done. We might not be going back up above it. So taking out basically 41.5, right, could basically seal the deal for the bears, right? And basically they could be looking for, you know, for the short term. Okay, it is going to be a short term analysis, right? It could be retesting 0.618 right there, 35.4, 35.5 range. Okay, but it got to basically take out the support area right here. During the week, right, during the weekend, okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the volume right here, most of you guys probably caught it, was pretty low. Okay, was pretty low. That's why, you know, I wasn't looking to be shorting, because remember what we said regarding a low volume and decreasing prices. You don't want to short a low volume and decreasing prices. Okay, you don't want to short a low volume and decreasing prices. You want to either buy the dips, right, and get the next like a short-term breakout. Because I was saying it, okay, I was not saying it, but I was saying, like, you know, I was seeing a possible breakout right here. That's why I did not short sell you know, BTC during the weekend, and basically just stick with Ethereum. Okay, but the daily we will need to basically flip negative, right? But before flipping negative on the daily, we got to flip negative again on our 6-hour basis. Okay, and basically take out the 21 EMA again. Okay, and especially the 100 EMA. Right now it is at 41.6, and we talk about all these prices, guys. We said, you know, if we break out below the 21 EMA going to be our first support, secondary support 50 EMA, tertiary support 100 EMA. So we got, you know, get all these guys to flip negative again. Okay, to go back to the negative downtrend. So let me go ahead and take a look at the chat room. I know we got some moon boys in the house. It is already 52 minutes, guys, of macro analysis, guys. No chit chatting and all that good stuff, guys. So the hourly, I was expecting the hourly to take a break. I said it in my premium group after we got the negative crossover. Guys, pay attention to your MACD, man. Your MACD, if you can basically master your MACD, you're not going to be panicking. Okay, yeah, sometimes, you know, you can see like some breakout like that, you just don't want to jump in and all that good stuff, but you know, you're not supposed to be shorting these like a move. Okay, unless you not macro, but short to medium term trading. Okay, you accumulated shorts. But if you're basically doing 100x with these moves, they're going to take you out. Okay, they're going to wipe you out. So as long as we got the negative crossover right here, and the negative MACD, right, after the retest of the top right there, MACD, you know, ignore the price action and basically continue the downtrend. That's how I knew, like, we basically going to be cooling off for the next like a few hours. Okay, so you got, you know, you got the 100 EMA support going to be at 43.1. okay, which is basically your 6-hour 21 EMA. Okay, so let's see how we basically going to be staying in this range of 43.5 up to 44.5 range. Okay, if we basically create a top formation over the next like couple of days, staying in this range based on the 6-hour dump and pump, right, dump and pump within the next like a 24-48 hours, we will know basically MACD will need to basically cross negative, and we basically will dump to the downside. So it could just be a short-term pullback based on the double top right here. Okay, but not a continuation pattern. You see what I'm saying, right? Hopefully, right? Hey Sen, good to catch you live again. Looking for your analysis. Thanks a lot, Ty, for tuning in. Not Ty, but hey Tyro. I think we got Ty and Hey. No, we got Tails and Hey. So Digital Torch is another moon boy. Is saying like a so Digital Torch is basically saying we should get an alt season very soon, right? And based on the price history, BTC and altcoin, they can't have the same season, meaning like BTC has to pump, alt, they have to basically take a step back. Yes, I learned that long time ago, since like 2020, right? Back in February 2020. We did have a mid-February, I think like February 12, something like that, but actually late December, started like January 31st, okay, till February 18th. We did have a nice alt season, because I remember back then, if I was just looking for like alt to pump like 100x, I mean not 100x, but go like 100% or 200%, and we were getting those moves, back in March, right? March 2020, we get the capitulation, right? And after that, we got another alt season, like around like started like late May 2020, June 2020 till basically August 2020. And you're right, okay? After August 2020, even though BTC dumped slightly, like from like I think like a 10, like 11, something like that, 10.2, around like the 10K area, right? Alt were dumping. That was right here. Okay, that was like August 2020, right? Exactly August 12. Okay, BTC dump all the alt, right? But remember, BTC after September, the September lows at 10K, BTC was still pumping to the upside, but alt were dumping to the downside. I couldn't explain it myself. I was like, I just don't understand what's going on. I know BTC is extremely bullish, right? But all these alt, they dumping. So, and they were dumping hard, like against BTC, like 50%, 60% against BTC, while BTC was pumping. So it took me a while to basically, to basically grasp the overall picture. Like alt needed to basically sit tight, relax, and let the big boy right here do the get the job done. Okay, yeah. So basically, just to cut it short, BTC and alt, they can pump at the same time. That's why you pay attention to the BTC dominance, right? So remember, we've been talking about the BTC dominance forever. Okay, not on the daily, but on the weekly and 3D and all that good stuff. So what we're saying is like the weekly pattern right here, it is a very bullish pattern. If you recall back in May, June, July, that's the same pattern we got on BTC, right? On a 2D basis and 3D basis, stuff like actually 2D and daily basis, right? Same exact pattern. So BTC did have a nice triple bottom at 30K, right? And basically flipped bullish and pumped all the way up to 69. So if you take a look at BTC right here on a 2D basis, right? Same exact pattern, right? Same exact pattern. The BTC dominance, right? Triple bottom at 40%, right? BTC USD triple bottom at where? 30% right here. And take a look at the MACD, same exact pattern. It is just different. You're just looking at it at a different time frame. Okay, this one is on a 2D basis, and the BTC dominance was on a weekly basis, right? Meaning like the BTC dominance got a pretty good chance to break out high. I'm not saying it will do the same thing, like break out 100% and all that good stuff, but in term of like candles patterns, I mean, I would say like a chart structure, not candles pattern, but in terms of a chart structure, right? It could basically pump above 40, 46, 47, or even 50%, depending on the volatility, right? depending on volatility. All right, so yeah, so pay attention to the BTC dominance. It is a very good time to be accumulating BTC, regardless of the price of BTC. Okay, regardless of the price of BTC, it is a good time to be accumulating BTC. Okay, so I know some people will be like, okay, I want to be buying alt. Yes, you can still buy alt, but you got to hold some BTC. The reason for that is, like, if let's say you manage to accumulate like 0.1 BTC or 0.001 BTC, even if BTC goes up to like $1 million, $10 million, right, it is still going to be 0.1 BTC, whatever you hold it. However, if you basically accumulate enough BTC, let's say you got 0.1 BTC and BTC dominance pumped to like 50%, right? And let's say you're expecting another dump, you can put your BTCs right into alt, right? And alt could pump like 5, 10, 20, 50x against BTC. And you know, if one of your alt, basically, let's say you hold one alt, right? Just to make it very simple, right? I know some people will only hold XRP, right? Like Jude. So let's say you put your one BTC into XRP when the BTC dominance is like 50%, and the BTC dominance dumped like, let's say, to 25%. Your 0.1 BTC into XRP might be 1 BTC worth. You see what I'm saying? Because XRP could probably pump like 10x against BTC, right? So you turn your 0.1 BTC, right, into 10 BTC, right? If the BTC dominance dump. Remember, the BTC dominance can dump to 25%, right? Right? When BTC is like, let's say, 150K or like a 200K, right? So you got your 10 BTC times 250K, right? You got the deal, okay? Now you need a calculator, right? You need a calculator, right? So you do the math, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, you got to hold some BTC, okay? You got to hold some BTC. Okay, regardless of how much you're waiting for the alt season, right? You got to wait for the BTC. I mean, you got to hold some BTC while waiting for the alt season. You just don't want to be all in cash. Okay, in cash, right? You don't want to be all in cash, because I mean, being all in cash, yes, you can increase your BTC holding, but you're not going to increase your BTC holding by 10x, because you know BTC is not going to drop like 90% from here. Okay, let's say you got like now let's say you got 1 BTC worth right now, like a $43,000, right? And in order to basically get 10 BTC, right, with your cash, BTC has to drop what, 90%. Okay, right? So that way you can buy 10 BTC. However, if you just hold your BTC, regardless of what regardless of the price of BTC, whether BTC dumps to like a 26 or 25, you're still going to hold your 1 BTC. Okay, and if the BTC dominance goes up to like 50% or higher, it doesn't matter. By the time you basically if you realize like the BTC dominance will dump, you just take your BTC, right, regardless of the price, right, you just put it into alt. Okay, few alt, and if those alt 10x, now you got 10 BTC, right? And if BTC price is at 200K, you multiply your 10 BTC by 200K. Okay, but you got to think about it like in a macro way, not like short term, because these alt, after you buy them, they can still dump like 50%. Right, but they're not going to dump 50% forever, right? They will pull back, massively, right, during the alt season. Hopefully it makes sense. Okay, hopefully it makes sense. I'll try to explain it in try to explain it as easy as possible, but I'm pretty sure Jude won't get it. So we got email in the house. So guys, it's already 1 hour, and we talked about BTC macro view, from the quarterly time frame all the way down to the 1 second chart. So if you guys have any questions regarding any alt, alt BTC, alt USD, we can basically we can basically take a look at those charts. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ether. I'm looking for Ether pull back down to the mid 2,500 all the way down to the low 2,200 range. So that's not the chart right here. Excuse me. So we've been pretty much spot on regarding Ether, right? I remember when Ether was like at above like a 4,000. I know most bulls did not believe like we will dump that much, but you know, I was saying like, guys, we could be dumping down to like a 2650, 2550 range, or even down to the you know, weekly 100 EMA, right? So we got the support at the weekly 100 EMA. Now we got the pump. The next thing I'm looking for right now, it is going to be at least another retest of the weekly 100 EMA right here. Okay, possibly within the next like a few days or few weeks. Okay, depending on volatility. If you take a look at, you know, Ether on a weekly basis, it is easier right now to analyze on a weekly basis. Back then it was easier to analyze it based on 3D, because you're going to get a very high confidence level, like you know, we could be dumping based on the 3D strategy, right? As of now, we got a big rejection on our weekly, and price action is looking to retest the weekly 21. It can still pump all the way up to like a 3360, depending on how BTC will perform over the next like a few days. Okay, so Ether still got a, you know, possible juice, some juice left to get to the weekly 100 EMA, I mean weekly 21 EMA before the weekly 100 EMA retest again. Okay, so it is going to be a possible 8% pump. So just got to be patient. If the volatility is going to be upward, right, it can retest the January 17th candle open right there. Okay, so January 17th, because if you take a look at it right here, even back in you know, May 2021, right, August 2021 right here, resistance, right, support, September, right, the September dump. Most of you guys remember that September dump, right? And basically the breakout, October breakout. And we talk about the October 6th breakout, right, regarding the Ether BTC and Ether Dominance, and the BTC Dominance also, right? So if we go ahead and take a look at the BTC Dominance again, right, back in October 6th, right here, okay, right here, it pumped slightly, right there, but got started to get the rejection right around the October 18th. Okay, October 4th to October 18th, right, it, you know, it pumped, but the Ether price was pumping hard, right? And the NFTs, like not the NFTs, but the metaverse were pumping, like you know, Gala, you know, Sandbox and all that good stuff. So the BTC Dominance was dumping based on those, you know, coins, based on those coins pumping, right? So if we go back to Ether, and the Ether Dominance right here, October 17th, October 18th, it started pumping, the BTC Dominance started dumping. Okay, so and as of now, I'm expecting a potential retest over the next like a few weeks, a retest of the trend line support right here. Okay, 14 to 16%. Okay, so negative divergence right here on our MACD, RSR, right, and price action. They all basically moving in opposite direction, meaning like price action is moving in opposite direction, was moving in opposite direction to our indicators right here. So if we go back to Ether USD, right, so you can see, you know, right here, you know, October 4th, right, October 11th, bang, that's when the Ether Dominance started to really pump. Okay, So ether resistance, right, could be all the way up to the weekly 21. Okay, could be all the way up to the weekly 21 if we get there, because the volume is kind of low, and we only like 2-3 days into the weekly candle, but we got a low volume big candle. Let's see. Okay, let's see if we can get more buying volume. Okay, because if bulls are tired already, right, it means like bears going to be taking over for the rest of the volume. Right, makes sense, right? Because we already got a nice body candle, right? But the buying pressure wasn't a lot. Okay, and we know we're going to get more volume to basically fill up the space right here in this range, but we don't know if this volume, right, going to be green or if this volume going to be red, right? We don't know, meaning like the rest of the volume, not the bottom right here. Okay, and you're going to get the color of the volume depending on where we close at. Okay, if we close below the candle open, the volume going to be red. If we close above the candle open, the volume going to be green. Remember, you can still get a big volume with a very, very small body candle and a big wick. Okay, right? But it depends on the time frame. It depends on the time frame you're looking at. Okay, on the weekly it might be green, but if you take a look at it like on the 3D, you might get like one big red candle. So remember, whenever you get a wick, right, a wick like that in a particular time frame, right? Let's say if you get it on the daily, let's say if you get a daily candle like that, right, it means like one of your lower time frame, like let's say 6 hour or 12 hour or something like that, you probably got what, a big wipeout candle, right? Remember, because you're looking at the day, right? But one of your previous candle, okay, on the lower time frame, you got a wipeout candle right there, like meaning like a very engulfing candle, but you're not going to be able to see it on the daily because the daily time frame is what, a higher time frame. Okay, so if you take a look at, let's say the big candle you got right here on the weekly, that big wipeout candle, you're not going to be able to see it on the monthly. You see what I'm saying? That's what I tried to explain to you. Okay, you're not going to be able to see it on the monthly. You only can see it on the weekly, right there. Can we look at V-chain Tor? Let's go ahead and take a look at Vector. USDT. Let's take a look at on the 3. All right, looks like you could get a possible pump. Okay, let's check the Fibonacci's first. Oh no. Okay, so if we take a look at the Fibonacci's, it seems like we got a double bottom so far at 0.618, right? Even though we created a low, right? And on our MACD, if we take a look at it, we got a bullish pattern right here, right? A slightly bullish pattern right there, but not quite yet bullish, right? The only problem with this setup is like our RSI on the 3D, it is still basically pointing down. So to me, it looks very accumulative, right? So next support to that's 50% pullback, okay, not 0.618. if we do not basically get the breakout to the upside, right, get a short-term pump, next support right here going to be at 0.0025, which is going to be 0.618. Okay, the worst case scenario is like to retest the 0.786. Right, you could analyze it based on the trend line, but it'll be like a you know, it is also pretty valid to look at it and look at it based on trend lines. Remember, the way you're looking at the market, it doesn't mean like everyone looking at the market that way. That's why sometimes you know, I analyze the market based on Elliott wave, or I analyze the market based on moving averages, or I analyze the market based on indicators, because it all depends like which one it is going to be in favor, okay, of that particular setup, right? That's why I don't want to be like one type of analyst, like I'm only going to analyze the chart based on Elliott wave. Okay, if you do that, sometimes you're going to be like, you just don't know what's going on, because sometimes all your setups based on Elliott wave going to get invalidated, and you can't just like say, oh, I don't know what's going on, right? I just have to I mean, yes, sometimes you don't know what's going on, and most of the time you're trying to figure out what's going on, but you can't get an accurate analysis if you just basically analyze the market, you know, in a very, very particular way, like just trend lines. Okay, just trend lines and all that good stuff, or just Elliott wave. All right, so support right here, 0.002. Let's take a look at VTH or BTC. Yeah, VChain Tor BTC, it is in a strong reaccumulation, right? As you can see, all these divergences are all right, but it is not breaking out. I hate when it does something like this. So the easiest way to do it, when the chart basically is looking funny, just multiply it by, you know, whatever number you want. Okay, yeah, VChain Tor, yeah, versus BTC, it looks pretty nice, right? It is respecting the Fibonacci's. Next support based on these Fibonacci is going to be at, you know, I multiply it by 100,000, so whatever. Okay, 0.618, it is going to be like a 6.4, something like that. Okay, I don't know if it is going to be 6 sats or 6. I don't think it is going to be 6 sat, but right here, 0.618 going to be the next support right here. Okay, it is moving just like VET. Okay, and also just like I like to say it a lot, Ethereum Classic, because Ethereum Classic broke out below the I think 45,000 support, right, and dumped all the way down, I think like to 3,000, something like 40,000, I can't remember, but it dumped 50% before the big move, right? Yeah, that pump 20, actually it wasn't even that big in terms of like compared to like Solana and all that good stuff. Is that Golem? GLMR. I think that's Golem, right? No, Moonbeam. I think Moonbeam BTC. Okay. Okay. Oh, Moonbeam is not going to the moon, man. So I think Moonbeam, it is on not Coinbase, but I think on Binance. So it doesn't seem like it, you know, it dumped enough. Sometimes they dump like 90 to 95%, right? Based on the 3D time frame, I don't see anything. Daily basis, you got slightly double bottom. Let's see. Yeah, it looks very accumulative, right? It looks very accumulative, even though you got a divergence right here, right? Yeah, sometimes your MACD can still be pushing higher, right, like that, but you're still going to be getting what, lower prices. Okay, it can still be doing like that, right? So I think like the best thing to do is like just to accumulate it, right, while RSI it is you know, at or below 30. Okay, at or below 30, you start accumulating it right there. Yes, accumulate right here. Okay, so it is only 80% down. Okay, sometimes you see these guys you can see these guys like can dump like 95, 97, like CRV, okay, or sushi, okay, before they pump like 40x, like 20x, something like that, right? Sushi dump, I think, all the way down to like 50 cents, all the way up to like, and pump all the way up to $20. Okay, I was saying buy sushi at 50 cents. That time it was dumping a lot with a lot of volume, just like CRV, okay, back in 2020. Okay, but right here the volume is pretty low in terms of dumping, so that's a good news. But you know, let's see how it goes, right? Now let's go ahead and take a look at sand. So sand, dust, I like to call it sand dust, sand USDT. So sand, our one of our analysis regarding sand was like a top at $8 and retest of the weekly 21 and a bounce back up. So everything played out, right? It peaked at $8, 8.5, wherever. It dumped down to the weekly 20. I was saying like buying at the weekly 21, right? And basically it pushed back up, but we're still not taking out the breakout candle right here. Got to take out the breakout candle on the weekly basis. If it does, next resistance going to be at 6.5, 6.7 range. Okay, so that's going to be the upside resistance, right? So MACD is still negative, so we have to pay attention to what the downside support. Okay, since like MACD is still negative. So based on prices, right, you got the previous accumulation. It looks like BTC. Okay, so sometimes most people are not paying attention to these coins, but they printing sometimes the same pattern as BTC. Like a BTC peaked at 14k right here. Let's say BTC peak was at 14k. That's the 4k pump, and that was the 10k area, right? 10k area consolidation before the breakout to 69. So similar price action, right? But the support range, the maximum support range going to be right here, $1 range. Okay, if we get there, okay, let's take a look at it based on Fibonacci now. Okay, based on Fibonacci, right, the next support going to be 170, 180 range right here. Okay, so resistance all the way up to 6.5, 6.7, right? And you know, based on Fibonacci, if MACD stays negative, right, like that, we will probably have to retest, because MACD cannot, you know, continuously be negative without price action continuously retesting some lower prices, right? So it just doesn't make sense, right? So if we break out below the 21, we most likely will, since like a MACD is negative, unless we break out higher. Okay, support 1.7. okay, once again, it is not going to retest these lows like in one straight line. Okay, it could be all kind of noise. Okay, it could take forever. All right, so it is 1 hour 24 minutes. All right, guys, 1 hour 24 minutes, 1 hour of BTC analysis, 24 minutes of altcoin analysis. Let's just call it a day, right? and we will go live sometime this week. If market is volatile tomorrow, we will go live. If market is boring, I'm gonna upload a short video update and all that good stuff, right? All right guys, make sure to hit the likes. IQUSD, make sure to send your requests pretty early, that way I won't miss it. Let's see, so Neo is at $24. So haven't traded IQ yet. Everypedia, yes, sucker is moving just like the rest of these coins. Started to break out since like a 2020. Yeah, right now we're double bottoming at 50%, right? 50% pullback. 0.618 going to be at 0.0055, 0.786 going to be at 0.033. Okay, so weekly MACD is still negative, right? So we'll need to get a positive MACD right here before the next uptrend. Okay, so the good news is, like, regardless of how low we drop, we could just assume, right, that wave right here was our wave 1, and we got to get what, our wave 3. So let's assume, like, if we get a zigzag, right, or even a double bottom, right, we could be looking for 1.618 extension to the upside. So for instance, if let's say let's just assume, okay, 50% going to be a 50% pullback, it is the bottom. Whoa, 1.618 going to be very bullish. Okay, it could be all the way up to like a $1.80. Okay, $1.80. That's what the chart is saying, not me. Okay. However, since, like, we did not dip like down to a 0.618, we could look for like a you could look for like a 1.27. It is going to be at 58. But will it make sense to to get to those levels? I don't know this coin market cap. That's going to be it is about like 100 million, right? So yeah, that's going to be about like 6 billion if we multiply by 60x, right? That's going to be about like 6 billion. All right. So if it is going to be in the top 100 before the bull market peak, it has to be above like 6 billion. Okay, because if we're going to hit like let's say 7, 8, 9, 10 trillion, right, all the top coins from like BTC all the way down to a number 100, right, they're going to worth at least 8 billion. Okay, I said it since last year. I think like some of these coins, they pump like to some of the top 100 coins, right, the lowest end, pump like over like 3 trillion if I'm not mistaken, right? So if we're going to hit like 7, 8, 9 trillion, they will all worth like 8 billion, right? So it makes sense. If it is a big project, right, a big project, it is likely to get to those levels, right? However, if it dumps right here, you could look at it also like that. Okay, to pump all the way up to 40 cents. Still, you could be looking for like 0.618. Okay, so very accumulative, right? Let's see if 0.618 going to hold, or even like a 50% pullback. If you're looking for the macro directional move, within the next like a 2.5 or like a 1 year, 2 years, whatever. Okay, whenever BTC hits like a 200k or whatever, right? All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, man. Hey, what's up, Madam Sharma? Thanks a lot, Madam Sharma. Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Be safe out there.